If you're a property investor or you're managing somebody else's properties by renting them short-term vacation rental, and you just want to increase your income by putting them on these two global platforms, and you want to know what's the big deal about them and what's the big difference between them, today we're going to talk about the Airbnb and VRBO and what do they have in common and what might be the best option for you. So let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sylvia and I love properties. I'm a property investor. I'm also doing a bunch of other things, but today we're going to talk about the two massive global platforms where you can rent your house, your apartment, whatever, short-term or do vacation rental or even long-term, whatever is best for you. It's just two big opportunities that you might explore, and a lot of people are confused which one is better, which one to start with. So first of all, I've been using these two platforms for years, and I'm a super host on Airbnb. I'm also a premier host on VRBO, which means you have like really high reviews, you have certain like quality listing. You basically achieved a certain level on this platform, which they automatically promote your property more to bigger audience. You guarantee a certain quality experience for guests staying at your properties. I'm just going to be really honest about the difference, the advantages and disadvantages of renting your house on one of these platforms. So from my experience, I've been a super host on Airbnb since 2019. I started exploring VRBO, which some of you might know it as a HomeAway, but then it became VRBO, so it's like global now, one brand, VRBO, and I became a premier host last year. So it's been a shorter experience for me renting through the VRBO, but I can tell you honestly, there are some good things about one of the platforms, some bad things about another. Which one is easier to use? Which one is more user-friendly? Well, first of all, if you wanna rent your property, you need professional pictures, and I would just advise you to do that on any rental property you decide to put your listing. So you will see a bigger increase in bookings if you have professional pictures. It just will give a truthful, like a facelift to your house, because even if you're good at photography, unless you have a professional gear and you have some experience as a photographer or interior photographer, you will not have good marketing material for your houses. So as long as you have like good pictures and prepared documents to rent your property, like house rules and how to get in, how to get out, tips about the neighborhood, the area. Once you legally registered your property and you are able to legally rent it, here you go. You could list it either on Airbnb or VRBO or both, whatever is better for your country. From my experience, I would say Airbnb is a much user-friendly platform. It's really easy, takes no time to put your house online, but there is a whole set of preparation you want to go through in order to be successful. So since I'm like a super host on one platform and a premier host on another, and you are interested to rent your property on, let's say, your entire house or apartment on Airbnb, I could actually guide you through that for free, because Airbnb chose me as their ambassador lately. So they select some hosts in different countries to guide new hosts. So if you need that guidance, tips about how to be successful, and you want to get weekly tips on that, you could just click the link below in the description and message me directly through Airbnb, and I could guide you how to list your property. VRBO doesn't do that, doesn't offer that service of guiding other hosts how to become superhost, but renting on one will help you to be successful on another. So it definitely is much easier and user-friendly to put things on Airbnb, but maybe that's just me because I've been using it for so many years. And VRBO, it's tiny bit more tricky, but it's still not difficult. So if you're a new host and you just don't know like where to start, I would highly suggest you first start on Airbnb, just because it is just so easy. It's very user friendly. It's like, you know, it's like when you get an Apple device and it's just user friendly, just you know what to press. The same is with Airbnb, you know where to go and what to put, but also you can get help from host ambassadors like me who can guide you for free. Once you've done that and you got used to it and saw some success with your house, you could put your listing on VRBO as well, because you already know, you already have like the marketing material for your house. You just get used the same pictures for another platform. But you'd ask yourself, which platform is more popular? From my experience, I would say Airbnb is more popular, but it depends on the country you list your property and your town. I would say Airbnb is very used and very popular in America. So if you list properties there, you might start with Airbnb and then go to VRBO and list it on both.
So here's a perfect example for you to show you the difference between the two platforms and how popular is one over the other. We're going to go to Insights and go to see the number of viewers in the last 30 days of the same property, which is listed on both platforms. On Airbnb, this particular property got 819 viewers in the last 30 days, and there are 5 successful bookings. Now, it's a big difference between the quality of the booking. It shows 5 bookings, but it could be each booking 1 week long, which means your property will be booked like for 5 weeks, which is great. In this case, I'm not going to go into details. We're just going to go see exactly same property, how many viewers it got on VRBO. So here we are, exactly same property listed on VRBO. Let's see its performance and how many viewers it got in the last 30 days. All right, so there's a massive difference. On Airbnb, it got over 800 views. On VRBO, it got only 178 property views in the last 30 days, and it got 3 successful bookings. Again, it depends on the quality of the booking, which is not bad. So on Airbnb, you got more viewers and 5 bookings. On VRBO, way less viewers, 178 versus 800 on Airbnb and 3 bookings. So the success rate is actually pretty good on VRBO, which is why I would highly suggest you guys list your properties on both platforms.
I'm really curious, which country are you from? Where are you watching this video? Do you have properties, and which platform are you more familiar with? Is it Airbnb or VRBO? Please comment below. I'm really curious about that. And let me know about your experience with them. A very important topic for any host is where your property is better protected against damages, because unfortunately sometimes, you know, things happen and some guests might leave damages in your house, or you can have some issues. So there is a massive host damage protection covered by Airbnb, but I have to say it's more difficult to deal with this because they're very strict about their damage protection and their claims, probably because some people maybe abused it in the past, so they're very strict about it. But if you got damages and your property is listed on Airbnb, you could file a claim or ask the guest to get you a refund, and if the guest says no, you have to provide all the pictures, videos, all the receipts, how much it would cost to replace the item or repair, and then you file this claim and get the Airbnb deal with this. In case you didn't find a solution with your guest, they come in, do their research, and if you are the one who got damages after your guest, you will get refunded by Airbnb, even if your guests say no, or they just, say it's not true, it didn't happen, and blah, blah, blah. While this is kind of a time-consuming procedure, there's a good thing about VRBO. You can put damage protection in your deposit. So you choose a damage protection, whatever, like $600. So your guest has this thing on when they book, they know they have to pay a damage protection of $600 for your property. In case there has been left damages to your house. Here's the thing, on Airbnb you also can put a damage deposit. You can ask your guests to be, to have that $600, but you cannot claim that damage immediately. You have to go through all the procedure and have Airbnb research everything, and it's very time consuming, and you have to spend some time on the phone and be patient before it gets solved. It will get solved, so that's the good thing about it. But on VRBO, it's very easy to file a claim. So if your damage is $600, damage protection is $600, and you got, some damages at your house, always take pictures, by the way. Here's the big thing. Always have proof of the damages. As soon as the guests leave, go through your house, go through everything, and see if anything was left damaged before your next guest arrived. Otherwise, it's really difficult to prove they did the thing. So VRBO is really easy to get that damage deposit back. You just go through to the booking, ask for the damage, you say how much was the damage, and you ask the guest, and they pay you immediately back. So it's very little time. It just takes a couple of seconds. You calculate your damages and you ask the guest, and if it's in that budget of your damage deposit, which is like $600 or $300, whatever you decide, then it takes you no time to get that money back. Well, Airbnb, even if you have that damage deposit set up on your platform, it is very time consuming to get that money back. Also, here's the negative thing about the Airbnb, because if your damages are bigger than the damage deposit you ask your guests to leave, let's say you got damages about $1,000 and your damage deposit is only $600, you will get that $600 back immediately. And while the other $400 difference, you might have to spend time on the phone with them and show more proof. So let's say this way, if you have a damage deposit set up and your damages are less than the damage deposit, it's really easy to get it paid to you. And also, we would ask, what's the best customer service, Airbnb or VRBO? So the time of shooting this video is 2021, and my experience by this time is that VRBO has amazing customer service. Every time I call them for any issue, I don't spend hours on hold. They just get straight back to me and answer, and I have to say their customer service is very protective and supportive towards their hosts. While Airbnb might be much more time consuming, and I did notice a decrease in their customer service in the last 2 years. They're picking it up right now. They're picking it back now after, everything that happened in the last 2 years. But they had some issues. I have to say, they have massive issues last year. Every time I put a claim, it will take like 60 days to get refunded for any damages, and I spent hours on the phone being on hold. So, and their excuse is because too many people are calling, and it's because of shortage of stuff, but it was really stressful. I am glad to see they're getting better at this right now, so hopefully it improves. But surprisingly, VRBO was amazing customer service. So Doesn't matter they're, like were global issues. They didn't say, oh, sorry, we have shortage of stuff. There's always somebody answering the phone in no time, less than 2 minutes, and giving me advice what to do and how to deal with certain things. So that's a plus for VRBO. I'm reminding you guys, if you want to start renting your entire house, your entire apartment, and you need that free advice, please click the link below in the description, get in touch with me, and we could prepare your listing and publish it together on Airbnb, and then you can transfer that experience to other platforms. Hey, don't forget to smash that like button, because it obviously will help this video and it will help me to prepare more good content for you guys for free. Let's see another important point. If you want to get more visibility of your property, get more bookings, you have to give some standard of quality to your guests, and that on Airbnb is classified as being a super host, and on VRBO as a premium partner host. And here are the big differences between them.
In order to be a super host on Airbnb, you have to meet certain level of quality that you provide to your guests. On Airbnb and VRBO, they value your performance every 3 months, as you can see. So in order to be a super host on Airbnb, you have to have reviews, minimum reviews of 4.8 star, which means most of your reviews have to be 5-star reviews. I highly recommend you guys ask your guests after they check out and you feel like they had a positive experience to give you a 5-star review. Some guests might think that a 4-star review is good enough, and they just will give a 4-star and say, okay, that's great. But actually, it's really bad for Airbnb algorithm to have a 4-star. It's actually considered a bad review. So your listing will go way down there and not be in the top listings if you get 4-star reviews or lower. Actually, 5-star is the review you want to get. You want to get 100% response rate, which means as soon as somebody asks you a question, a potential guest, you want to answer immediately back and don't leave it there for hours or even days, which is really bad for the algorithm. The minimum criteria is 90% response rate. Also, you have to have 10 completed stays or 100 nights over 3+ days, so that's achieved. And also cancellation rate. You do not want to cancel a booking. That's really bad for Airbnb and for VRBO. If you have like an emergency or something happened at your house, you might call Airbnb customer service and tell them what's going on, so they don't consider it as a cancellation, but you have to provide proof. In any case, you're allowed to have less than 1% cancellation rate. So I guess you can cancel once a year if something really bad happened and still be a super host. So once you're a super host, you can get a Airbnb $100 coupon, which is nice to have, but not the main thing on being a super host. The best thing for being a superhost is that your property gets promoted to potential guests through emails, and it's easy to find in search results. So it gets more viewers, which means you get more bookings eventually. So that's the big thing about being a superhost. In order to be a premier host on VRBO, you also have to achieve some goals. They are less strict than Airbnb, which is great. The main thing is average review rating, which on Airbnb is 4.8, while on VRBO is 4.3, which I think is great because it means even if you get a 4-star review, you're still up there and you can still be a premier host. While on Airbnb, as you saw, it's very strict and you have to have minimum 4.8. VRBO is 4.3. It's the same thing about acceptance rate. You have to accept most of your booking requests and answer to any questions straight away. Don't leave it for hours. Cancellation rate has to be less than or equal to 5%, which again is much less strict than Airbnb, which is only 1%. Your status is reviewed every 3 months, exactly as on Airbnb, and it's very good for your listing because it means you'll have more viewers, you'll be promoted by the platform, and you will get more bookings. You do not get any gift credit from VRBO, but that's all right. As mentioned, the main thing here is to get your property booked and have good quality long bookings, preferably.
If you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and like this video and share it with other people who are interested in renting their properties, who are just curious maybe about property investment and property rental. You could explore other videos on my channel on this subject about property investment, about rental, about different platforms and what apps to use to optimize those properties and get most income out of them. Here's an important thing about Airbnb and VRBO. On VRBO, you get charged about 8% from your income, because you use their service and they promote your house and stuff. And on Airbnb, you'll be charged between 3 and 5% depending on the country you're renting your property. So here's the thing, on VRBO you could buy an annual membership subscription, and it costs about $350, and this will decrease the percentage that they charge you per booking, which means if you get a lot of bookings, it is actually handy to have that annual subscription, and unfortunately it doesn't go from your rental income. You have to pay it on your credit card in advance. But if you don't rent so much on VRBO, you might consider, okay, whatever, I'm doing a couple of bookings a month, it's not really worth paying that annual subscription. But if you want to calculate really if it's worth paying that $350 for annual subscription, you just see what is your income per year from that property on that platform. So let's say it's $10,000, and which means if they charge you 8%, you will have to pay them $800 percentage fee for that income. But if you pay $350 membership, you'll be charged 3%. So it's probably better to get that subscription. But if you make more than 10 grand, it's definitely good to get that membership. Airbnb doesn't do that, so that's a positive thing. That's why I keep saying, probably if you're just starting out, start with Airbnb, get some experience, get some successful bookings of your property, get that cash flow going, and then move that experience from Airbnb, to other platforms, because it's really handy and you learn a lot and you can apply that knowledge to other platforms. If you need guidance and advice, again, don't forget, click that link below and get those free tips from me, Airbnb ambassador. Saying that, I'm also a premier host on VRBO and I have experience with other rental platforms. So subscribe to this channel and keep in touch. Ask me questions below if you want to know more and what are you curious about, what's your experience as a host, as a property investor, and let's talk about it and I'll answer your questions in the next video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon on the next one. Have a nice day and go get those properties rented.